Peace, family. It's your brother Marc Lamont Hill catching y'all late tonight. I apologize for being so late. I've been a little under the weather, but I committed to doing this every single day, and that every single day is giving you updates on the war on Gaza, Israel's war on Gaza. I committed to doing that every single day, and I'm going to do it as long as I'm breathing and capable. Um, Today tested that theory, but we out here. So drop in your name, your city, your location, all of that stuff. Let me know where you're coming in from, the city, the state, the country, all of that. Because again, this is a international platform and it's an international conversation. Israel's war on Gaza is now at day 123. These numbers keep climbing. The numbers are stunning, but we're going to continue to follow. We're going to keep following it, man. Let me send a few shouts out before we get started with these numbers, man. Elias Selmek Mazia, Alaikum Salam, Saeed Islam, Makeda, thank you. Saeed Islam, shout out to you in London. Makeda coming from Makeda coming from the Bronx. Bunny said, I'm so impressed that you keep showing up. Look, man, that's the job. We out here telling the truth, speaking the truth. And like I said, the platform is expanding, so we'll be covering more locations, more cities, more countries, more drama is emerging in so many places, and we gotta put a spotlight on all of it. Isha Abu Ahmed from San Diego, 179 Big Kev from Orlando, Richard Austin, that's right, the Philly crew coming through, Abdul Masood coming through. So much love to all of y'all, man. Michelle from Denver, always good to see you, my sister. Oh, you see the Malcolm hoodie, the X, yo. I appreciate you peeping that. Scala in LA, Bad Lefty from Ireland, also part of that Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. I don't know if you made it first, RK, but you made it. You made it from the UK. Bree making it in from Maryland. Shout out to B More in the building. Craig, Colorado. Appreciate y'all coming through. Love y'all. All right, let's get it going. We'll talk about a few things. The number of deaths in Gaza has continued to climb, of course. Now we're at over 27,000. In fact, the number is 27,585 people have been killed since October 7th. That number is crazy. 66,978 have been wounded. That means 67,000 people have been wounded in Gaza as of right now. We're going to talk about that. We also have some breaking news. It seems that Hamas has announced that it will be responding positively to the proposed truce plan. That means that we may see a truce deal. They've accepted the framework ostensibly, which means that it'll be at least 3 phases, which will allow for the release of hostages, it will allow for the release of dead bodies, it will allow for the entry of humanitarian aid. A lot of things in place here that we think are pretty important. So let's get to all of that as soon as possible. I spoke to Israeli officials as recently as today, and they've communicated a sense of interest in moving this forward. We'll see what that means. We'll see what that means. But they've been saying, it's on Hamas's shoulders, it's on Hamas's watch. We're waiting for Hamas to tell us something good. Well, now Hamas has announced that they're going to move forward, presumably. So let's see if in the next 7 days, and hopefully sooner than that, hopefully the next 2 days, we can see a truce deal. That would be amazing. In the meantime, lots of drama, lots of violence, lots of distress in the Gaza Strip remains. A convoy of trucks waiting to bring food into Gaza was hit yesterday by Israeli gunfire. Again, a convoy of trucks bringing food into Gaza. Remember, we're approaching famine. And as we approach famine, Israeli fire hit those trucks. Now, some will say it was an accident. Some will say it was miscommunication. Some will say it's a problem that was unavoidable. Others will say this is just another example of collective punishment, another example of violence. This is the problem with the current arrangement, with very little oversight, with very little humanitarian observation, with very few outside organizations being able to be on the ground, with no journalists on the ground. is that these things happen and there's just no oversight. And so we have to believe that the convoy of trucks was somehow viewed as a security threat, or they somehow breached some agreement to justify it. But there's just no justification. Now, the good news is no people died. There were no casualties, but the goods were damaged. In other words, all the food that was going into Gaza was compromised. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Al Ahli Hospital, or I believe it's called Al Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza City, received a quote surge of injured people after the rapid deterioration of Al Shifa Hospital. Al Shifa Hospital, as you know, is the hospital that we've been talking about since October. It's the one that allegedly had a Hamas command center underneath it, but no evidence of that ever emerged. Just some bad cartoon drawings, some weird videos, and some handcuffs and a box of dates. But nevertheless, the fact that Al Shifa Hospital, according to the World Health Organization, is deteriorating quickly means that more and more people are coming to Al Ahli Hospital. But we've seen Al Ahli Hospital, which is in Gaza City, also be bombarded. Maybe not bombarded, but certainly face looming threat of Israeli military. The front of the hospital, the plaza entering the hospital, and the surrounding streets have all been filled with violence, which means that not only is Al Ahli overburdened with injured people and sick people, but it's also hard to get in and hard to get out, which creates another problem in Gaza. All right, some 6,000 people are also waiting to be evacuated from the Strip for crucial medical care. So taking people out of Gaza, I've spent a lot of time in Jerusalem, and I know when I'm in Jerusalem, sometimes I'll be at a hotel or be in the old city, and I will see, we'll all see, in fact, people from Gaza there, and they've been evacuated from Gaza and allowed to come to seek medical treatment in Jerusalem, often through UNRWA. Shh, don't tell anybody. So now the challenge is getting people out, getting people through the Edits crossing through convoys. It's dangerous. It's unreliable, and Egypt doesn't have the capacity necessarily to receive these people. So you have 6,000 people who want to go to get healthcare. They don't care whether it's Jerusalem. They don't care whether it's Cairo. They don't care whether it's Amman, which is another way they could certainly, go. But they need the help, and there's simply no resources. So this is the humanitarian crisis. Also, in addition to the 6,000 people waiting for medical care, there's about 8,000 people who are sheltering in Al Amal Hospital, and they finally have been able to leave. That's a good news. That's a piece of good news. There are 8,000 people who have been basically sheltering in Al Amal Hospital can now leave after 2 weeks of siege. Now, I just talked about Al Ahli Hospital. Al Ahli is experiencing what I just described to you, right? Which is that people can't get in, people can't get out. It's hard to navigate. Well, if you thought that I was exaggerating or just painting a dangerous hypothetical, we're watching it happen in real time at Al Amal Hospital. Al Amal, you have all these people who can't leave. And now finally they can, but it took 2 weeks. You know what it's like to be sheltered in a hospital? Sheltering sounds great, but what it means is you can't leave, you can't enter. That means that sick people can't get in, well people can't get out. You can't see your family. The food resources are limited. And as you just heard, the trucks that are coming in are getting destroyed. According to the OCHA, that's the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. It's a UN office. 66% of planned humanitarian missions to distribute food and water and to provide hospital support were denied by Israeli authorities in January. Okay, 66%. That means 2 out of every 3 missions to give people food and water and medical care were denied by Israel. And at the same time, you have had, on the good side, Jordan and the Netherlands. They've had troops literally airdrop aid supplies into Gaza, which has been a wonderful intervention, but relatively small. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting the Middle East, pushing for a truce between Israel and Hamas, as well as release of captives in Gaza and Palestinian prisoners. Effectively, they want to advance the truce plan that's been proposed. Also, Qatar has had a role in this. Egypt has had a role in this. All good stuff. The commitment to a ceasefire. Unfortunately, the United States has not publicly advocated for a ceasefire, even if they have done so behind the scenes. I can't say. Um, but in the meantime, at least the public performance of the U.S. Secretary of State coming might mean that Israel's ready to make some move. Now, I'm not romanticizing what Israel's doing. I'm not celebrating Israel's approach here. But at the end of the day, I do want to see some peace. I do want to see some stoppage of violence just so that people can survive. A shout out to Rosability, who gave 5 Mark Lamont Hill memberships there. I don't know how y'all get them, but hopefully y'all can access them, because that would be super, super dope. That'd be super, super dope. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. A Barbados flagged UK owned cargo ship was attacked by a drone in the Red Sea, 57 kilometers west of Hodeidah, which is a city in Yemen. The Houthis have been attacking cargo ships in the Red Sea since November. Again, they've been putting a blockade of the Red Sea in response to the genocide in Gaza, and they've effectively said, as long as there's a genocide in Gaza, you're going to have a blockade of the Red Sea. So there's no surprise there. The UN has appointed an independent panel to investigate the UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, following accusations that 12 staff members were involved in the October 7th attacks in southern Israel. I'm going to have a whole other conversation about that with y'all. We're going to do a whole other video just about UNRWA and the recent revelations that there's not a scintilla of evidence publicly available that there is some UNRWA conspiracy, and yet we've cut off all the funding. So it's absolutely ridiculous that the U.S. did this while sending attempting to send $14 billion over to Israel in increased aid. So Israel's accused of genocide, keep sending money, no proof yet. UNRWA gets a 6-page dossier with no evidence in it, accusing them of something, and the whole thing gets cut. That's wild. All right, let's move quickly to the West Bank. Israel has been accused of withholding the body of a 14-year-old Palestinian boy who was killed by Israeli forces in the West Bank on Monday, according to his relatives. Defense for Children International, a civil society organization, said the action violates international law. And yes, withholding. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. I'm having a little bit of a camera issue here, but either way, that was the end of the update, everybody. Please make sure that you continue to follow us here on the channel for updates every single day. You're much appreciated, much loved. Hit the like button if you like the contributions we're making here. Let the YouTube algorithms know, because the algorithms are what allow this channel to have reach. Hit the like button. There we go. The video popped on. Hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button and become part of what we're doing here, man. Get these updates every single day. We really appreciate it. Hit the little bell. That way you get the updates on top of the updates. That means you don't only get the subscription updates, but you get a notification whenever something drops. And of course, hit the join button, family. Hit the join button so that you can become, if you're so inclined, a member of the channel. We really appreciate when you do that. It allows us to receive monthly, financial support. And if you haven't already, if you could make a small donation to the channel, to the platform, go to Cash App, MLHTV. I don't care if you drop $1. If all y'all dropped $1, it would make a huge contribution. Literally, if you went to Cash App and dropped $1 or $2, it would literally make a meaningful contribution to what we're doing, which is building the platform, expanding our reach, hiring more people, constructing a studio, all the things that are necessary here we can do with your support. So make sure you do that, and we'll talk soon. All right, family. Peace.